Real Connection. I'm your host, Luann. Today I have two really special friends with me, Cindy Doumani and Joni Sailon, and I met them both in 2006 when I produced the Stardust reunion at the Stardust Hotel and Casino and brought 650 people back to celebrate the entertainment history of the Stardust Hotel a month before they imploded the hotel. And Cindy had bought some tables and she brought some of her friends, and that was in 2006, and we've been friends ever since. But actually, Cindy and Joni have me beat by about 50 years because they first met when they were touring with Gypsy Rose Lee, and that's where they met, and they were roommates.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was in the 1950s.
That was 1955.
It was 1955.
Yes.
So let's just jump in and talk about that. What was it like in 1955 to tour with Gypsy Rose Lee?
A lot of fun.
It was fun. It was
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yes, yes, she
And
was very nice.
we left on a train from Grand Central Station, Los Angeles, and we went to Reno and Washington and Oregon and San Francisco and Lewis and Idaho.
Yes, yes.
It was really a lot of fun for two young girls.
Yeah.
And didn't you say you performed at the Mapes Hotel in Reno?
Yes, yes.
Tell us a little
Right.
bit about that, because an amazing icon or historical landmark.
My first job in show business, just 3 months before Gypsy, I was at the Mapes Hotel also.
Wow.
In another show for Dorothy Dorbin dancers and Showgirls. And then Dorothy Dorbin had another show with Gypsy Rose Lee, and that's where I met Joni. And we also went to the Mapes Hotel.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
So was that your first show, Joni? How old were you?
17. No, I toured with Sally Rand, who was a very famous fan dancer from burlesque, and when I was 14.
14?
Mm-hmm.
You were touring?
Mm-hmm. And we did as many, we had the ballet to get the people, because it was in a carnival.
Okay.
And in front of the showroom or in front of the tent, we'd ballet to get the people to come in and see the show. We didn't have to talk, but we had to be there. And we'd go inside and do a show. We did as many as 18 shows a day.
A day? And you
And
were
no
14
day off.
years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
No day off?
No.
And did you travel with that as
Yes,
well? Okay.
for traveling,
Yeah.
we were off.
So where did you grow up?
Long Beach, California.
And that's where you got your dance training?
Yes, yeah. I begged for 2 years, from 7 to 9, to please let me take lessons, and they weren't for it. So, but anyway, I finally did. Yeah.
And so, Cindy, when did you start dancing?
Well, I grew up in San Fernando Valley, Van Nuys, on a horse ranch, and we all took tap, ballet, and piano.
Okay.
And I remember all I wanted to do was be a dancer. At the age of 3, I danced to the Blue Danube.
That's a great song.
Yes. And I did, when I was in high school, I did flamenco dancing and Arabic.
Wow.
And Tahitian. I went to Hawaii.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your trip to Hawaii, because you had your own show in Hawaii, didn't you?
Yes. Well, after our show with Gypsy, I went over to Hawaii. My boyfriend at the time took a yacht over in the Trans-Pacific Yacht Race to Hawaii. And I got over there and I fell in love with the islands.
Yeah.
And so I became a Tahitian dancer. I also did Arabic and African
So as a Tahitian dancer, were you dancing with a troupe or were you dancing by yourself?
by myself.
And you did your own choreography?
Oh, yes. Well, I had a show there. They had a show in Waikiki called the Orchid Room.
Nice.
And that's where my first job, I made it up as I went along.
Wow.
And Hawaii was wonderful.
How long were you in Hawaii?
3 years.
Okay.
And then here in Las Vegas at the Thunderbird, they had 3 production numbers, and the middle one, I was the Tahitian dancer in the South Seas production number.
Okay.
I did Tahitian dancing here in Vegas.
Nice.
I still do it every day.
And then, so you were with the circus,
the carnival.
the carnival, and then what happened then? Did you come to Vegas after that?
I came to Vegas actually. Sally Rand liked me, and she brought me here. There were only 4 dancers, and of course I was the youngest. And we did 4 shows a night, 7 days a week.
Here in Las Vegas
In
now.
Las Vegas at the Silver Slipper.
4 shows a night, 7 days a week?
Mm-hmm.
So was that in the 60s?
I was 16, so 1937, 1947.
57. That was 67. Yeah, that was 50s, 40s.
No,
No, it was 50s, 60s. That was in the 60s. No,
No.
maybe 70s.
no, no. I was born in 37,
Okay.
and in fact, I have a birthday coming up.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah, the first week in May. I'll be 88.
88. Wow.
You're
And
just
still
a kid.
dancing.
You're just a kid.
So anyway, it must have been in the 60s.
No, I
37, 40. Oh,
I
born
came here in-
37, 47, 50s.
yes,
That's when you were doing
It was
4 shows and
just before I met her.
Okay.
Actually, so I was 16. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I had the girls were older. You know, they were 21 and older, and so they take the cars and go out and have fun, and I'd walk home because there was no bus service at that hour, and we lived in what is now called Naked City or something like that behind
by the Strat.
Strat, yeah. But it was safe then
yeah.
because the mob was here.
That's right. That's right.
And so you were eventually started performing at the Folies Bergère at the Tropicana, right?
I did, but I came first. When Sally closed at the Silver Slipper, I went back home and went to school again.
Okay.
And then I came back in '58. I auditioned in LA and got the job at the Riviera. And that was actually Dorothy Dorman, I think. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And then I went from there to the Desert Inn, Don Arden, and then from there I went to the Tropicana before the Folies Bergère. These were star policies.
Okay.
Then I did.
So you were like a backup dancer for the stars. You were like backup dancers for the stars?
Well,
when you
no,
said
we
star
opened
policy?
and closed, and the act, whatever, was in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the star policy.
Yeah. And then how big of a line of dancers would there be?
Well, depending on the show, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the Follies was the most I've worked with, yeah. And then I did, at the Dunes, I did Guys and Dolls. That was fun, and it was equity, and I got more money. Well, it was Betty Grable and Dan Daly. That was a lot of fun.
Wow.
And then I started working for Ron Lewis, the famous choreographer.
Yeah.
And I worked for him for several years. Yeah, I loved it.
So I was trying to see if there was a connection because I know at one point you and Fred Doumani owned the Tropicana Hotel
Yes.
when the Folies Bergère was there.
Yeah,
So were you in the Follies when
at that time.
At that time?
Uh-huh.
Yes, yes, she was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you doing the can-can. And you know, at the Thunderbird, I worked with June Havoc, with Gypsy Rose Lee's little sister, baby June.
Okay.
And both of them were very mothering.
Nice.
Do you remember that? Gypsy was
Gypsy
very
yes.
mothering, and both of them watched over all the girls.
Mhm.
They were really great.
So did Gypsy Rose Lee and her sister June perform at the same time, or did they
No,
have different shows?
No, we toured with Gypsy.
Yeah.
And then when I was at the Thunderbird, June Havoc was one of the stars.
Okay.
June Havoc.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it should. There's one story I have to tell
Oh,
about
please do.
Gypsy Rose Lee. One of the producers wanted his girlfriend to take my place. She had 4 girls and one was missing. Do you remember this?
Yes, I do.
And Gypsy walked to the edge of the stage and she put her hands on her hips and she screamed, "I am the star of this show. And if Sidney Lynn Reed isn't up here, I'm not going on." And she turned. I don't want to imitate her, but she swaggered off the stage. And they had me up there. But she was mothering. She looked after us.
Yes, she was very
Yes.
sweet.
Well, you both were really young, too.
Yes.
You both started dancing really young.
Right. You were
Yeah.
just 17, and
Mhm.
I turned 22 during the show.
Okay.
And so we've known each other, we figure now, 71 years.
Yes. And we're still here
And
having
we're-
fun.
That's right.
71
Yes.
years.
Yeah.
That's-
She's my little sister.
Why, how old are you, Cindy?
I just turned 92. And
Isn't
it's
that wonderful?
fabulous. It's just fabulous.
And look
It's
at
an
her.
Oh, yeah.
Every
Yeah.
age is wonderful.
That's true, yes.
Well, you're hard to keep up with, Cindy. I mean, you're always
I know.
out and about, and
Yes.
Exercise is the fountain of youth. And I've been a vegetarian for over, 50 years now?
Yeah, wow.
I think that makes a difference.
yeah, 50 years you've been a vegetarian,
Yes.
and you don't eat a lot of cooked food either, isn't it? Mostly
No,
raw
everything
foods?
is raw. Yes. Avocados, kale, everything boring to everybody else.
Oh, I don't know. I love avocados.
Oh, yes.
They're
Yeah, I
very
could-
good
I could
for
live
you.
on avocados.
Yes, yes.
The only thing cooked is the yams, the sweet
The
potatoes.
sweet potato, I have
Yeah.
one every day. Yes. It's the only thing cooked, baked.
Wow.
Yes.
And I know you talk about how you exercise every day too.
Every single day, yes. Use it or lose it.
Yeah.
We have to keep exercising. And Joni,
Mhm.
she exercises. She goes to classes.
Yeah,
You're still going to class?
oh yes, I take
Yes.
5 a week.
What kind of classes?
Zumba.
You do Zumba 5 times a week?
Uh-huh.
Wow. And tell me a little bit more, because I know you went, so then did you retire for a little while, and then you were with the Follies with Rich Rizzo?
Right, he came to see the Golden Rainbow, was that?
Yeah, Golden Rainbow.
Yes, the
And
Golden
he came, and I was in it, and he came backstage and said he was teaching. I hadn't met him prior to that. So I started going to his classes, and then we got the idea of forming a ex-dancers get together
Okay.
and make a line of girls, and we did, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I started that when I was 70.
Wow, and then you danced with him for maybe 10 years?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. So, and I might have missed other shows that you were I mean, I just kind of jumped to Rich Rizzo, but you were
Oh,
in the Follies.
yes, and then I went to the desert, the dunes, and did the Viva La Girls. Well, first it was the Star Policy, and then Viva La Girls, and then Casino de Paris,
Okay.
and then where did I go? Oh dear. Oh, I did the ice show. I had
You
never
ice skated?
It's a fun
Yes.
event, yes.
I'd
She
never
ice
ice
skated.
skated in my
Wow.
life. But
Oh.
I heard Ron saying that he hadn't either, but he roller skated.
Yes.
Well, I'd roller skated when I was a kid, but I had also in ballet worked on point. So my ankles were really strong.
Yeah.
So that didn't bother my ankles at all. And I became a showgirl rather
Okay.
than, a skater.
Yeah.
But I was on skates, yeah. And I did that for 5 years.
5 years you ice skated?
Mm-hmm. At the Flamingo.
Yeah.
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 And then I retired.
Okay. And then you have 2 children, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Children. I have 2 senior citizens.
And I think you have close to 2 senior
I have
citizens
two
as
sons,
well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And grandchildren.
And I'm a great grandma.
You're a great grandma now?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wow. Well, let's continue our conversation. We need to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be back afterwards, so don't go away. We're going to be talking to Cindy Doumani and Joni Sailon.
Country roads take me home to the place where I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Here comes a triple yodel.
So we're talking to Cindy Doumani and Joni Sailon, and we're going to talk a little bit more. I know on the break we were talking about Cindy and her horses. I know you're a real horse enthusiast.
Yes.
You grew up with horses. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I started riding. My father has me on his saddle when I'm 1 year old. I have a photo of that. And then when I was 5, he gave me a pony for Christmas. And I used to saddle my pony up when my dad was at his office downtown LA and ride her every single day. And here in Las Vegas, I had 5 horses. And I even rode in the El Dorado Parade, 1986, when they had it down the strip, before they had palm trees there. And people don't realize how much horses love us. And I had this one pinto, chestnut and white, half Arabian, half quarter horse. I was the only one that could ride him. And 2 cowboys from Oklahoma wanted to ride him. And I said, oh, no, you can't ride him. And they said, he's not going to buck me off. He made a complete circle at Sierra Vista Arena and bucked him off. He became a rodeo horse. And then the brother said, well, he's not going to buck me off. I said, okay. He did the same thing around the arena and bucked him off. He became a rodeo horse. And I got on him, and he went right down the trail. And, you know, I rode with the cavalry here, and we would get off every 50 minutes and walk for 10. And this horse, he would kiss me. I couldn't hardly walk. He would take his face and go all over me like that. And now, speaking of horses,
Yes.
Joni made this beautiful horse that I wear all the time. And she makes the most beautiful jewelry.
Oh, thank you.
You do, and you made that turquoise, and you
Yes,
made that
also
turquoise.
made this one too.
Yes.
That's my hobby.
And that's her hobby.
But do you sell your jewelry?
I should. I would like to. I just don't know how to go
Don't I
about
keep
it.
telling you to all the time?
Yes, she does, but she tells me to go to Dillard's or someplace like that.
Because
and
they
they're-
have beautiful costume jewelry.
Yeah,
Yes,
but-
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, this piece, I just
That's
love
really
it. I have the
beautiful.
most beautiful jewelry that Joni made.
Yeah, she's made me quite a few pieces too.
Yes.
So let's say, somebody's watching it and they go, oh my gosh, I would love it because you can make custom jewelry too, right?
Oh, yes.
Do you have a website that they could go to connect,
No.
to reach out to you?
No, I could give my telephone number.
If you're comfortable with that, or all right, do you
Yeah.
want to give out your telephone
Yeah,
number?
it's 702-513-5366.
Yeah, because I love your jewelry and I have
Oh,
quite a
thank
few
you.
pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I do too. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a work of art.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
a real talent.
I just enjoy it. I
Oh.
really do.
Well, I think it's from us, being dancers and just the dedication and commitment it took to be dancers and then to make those transitions in our life to doing other creative things or finding other, ways to be creative.
Right, yeah. I
Yeah.
started with crafts. And pine cone Christmas trees and a lot of things. The soldier
Oh, they're like the- yes.
nutcracker with pots, arranging them just a certain way, and you get a soldier. and I enjoyed that immensely. But then Pam is my friend, and we did it together. And then she moved back east when she retired to be with her family. And so we both switched to jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long have you been making jewelry?
Maybe 10 years.
Wow. Okay.
I think so.
Well, because I remember coming to your house and you had a whole beautiful collection of different
Yes.
pieces of jewelry.
Yeah, I have boxes.
Right. Right. It's a great gift.
It is.
Ah,
It is.
thank you so much.
It's a great gift that she has to make it. It's a great gift when she shares it with us.
It really is. Yeah, 'cause then you have a little piece of Joni.
Right, that's right.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah. So did I miss anything? Did you want to talk about anything else about your, your career as a dancer or other things? I know you've been in Las Vegas for a very long time,
Yes, I lived here since 59.
1959.
Right. I was in Japan for 6 months. I had my own act, and then I broke my contract, came home, and got married to Fred Sr. And we built the La Concha,
That's
and
right.
then we built the Morocco, and then the pepper mill, and then he invested in the Tropicana. And so we've been here a long time.
And then you donated the La Concha entrance to the Neon
That's
Museum.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, the Neon Museum lobby.
Yes,
Right.
which is a
Yes.
beautiful piece of architecture.
I am so glad that it survived
Yes,
everything.
yeah. No, that's just a perfect entrance for the Neon
It
Museum.
is.
Right.
And it's part of Vegas,
Yeah,
Yeah,
the history of Las Vegas.
right.
And I lived on the Desert Inn Golf Course for 39 years, which is now the Wynn
Hotel.
Hotel.
okay, yeah.
The Wynn Hotel and the Wynn Golf Course. And I remember at 2 o'clock in the morning, when there were only 3 houses in the center, I could walk my dog because we didn't have crime.
Right.
And we could walk down the boulevard at 2 in the morning. I could walk down there with my dog from La Concha to Sands.
Uh-huh.
No crime.
Right. Right.
And then all of a sudden, now we have crime.
Yes. Yes.
And
we
so
do.
I know a lot of other celebrities lived in that golf course with you.
Yes.
Because wasn't it one of the original golf courses in
It
Las
was,
Vegas?
Yes.
So who else lived there? Because I know you said you
Well, Bob Mayhew lived right across from us.
had... Okay.
Engelbert Humperdinck bought the
Yeah.
Kirk Kerkorian house. And then when Engelbert wasn't here performing, he lent it out to other musicians. And Willie Nelson stayed there one time, but he slept in his bus.
Oh.
Oh.
He didn't go in there, but one of our neighbor's dogs came home with a scarf, a Willie Nelson scarf around her neck. And we knew she had been to see Willie Nelson.
Oh.
And I love his music.
Yes.
And Louis Prima lived there. We had a few politicians. Chick Heck lived there, and he became ambassador, I think, to, I forget which country.
I don't know.
But we had a lot of famous people there.
Yeah.
I modeled
living.
his clothes because he had a shop. And
Who?
Chick Heck had a shop.
Yeah, that's a dress shop downtown
Right.
Fremont. Yes.
Uh-huh. I used to model his clothes on
Did
television.
you really? Oh my
Yeah.
word! And that's before Fremont was closed, and it was a
Oh,
real
yeah.
street
Yes.
then.
Yeah.
When I came here in '79, you could drive down the strip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The downtown.
Yes,
You-
we're now the Fremont Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I first came here in 1949.
1949.
49, when I was 16, my father stopped here on the way to the Grand Canyon overnight, and we saw the dinner show at El Rancho Vegas. And when I saw that show, I said, I'll be a secretary during the day to please my father, but at night I'm going to dance. And I followed my dream, going to SE, quitting after 2 years, and I never realized that I would meet, when I moved here, one of the girls, one of the dancers in that show, Gloria White.
That's right.
And I met her about 12 years later, and I call her my inspiration. And she's the mother of Costanza. You might all know Costanza. She does all the catering for parties and everything. She's incredible.
Yes.
Yes.
And Gloria White just passed away
Mhm.
several months ago at 98.
98.
Yes, my inspiration.
Yes.
Going
I've seen
back.
photos of her when she was a performer, and she was just stunning.
Oh, she was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, just beautiful.
And Costanza, she was a dancer too.
she did flamenco dance. She danced with the Gypsy Kings.
Yes.
Yes. And she's married to a very handsome man, Guillermo.
Guillermo. Guillermo.
I can't pronounce it.
Well, I say it with an Argentine
I always
accent.
say
Because you were married to an Argentinian, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
We spent time down there. I love it there.
Did you dance down there?
We did a radio program in Uruguay, and did I dance down there? I'm not sure, but I did dance with them for a short time.
With your husband?
Uh-huh, yeah,
So
his
he
group.
was a dancer as well?
No, he was a violinist. He had a violin
That's
group.
right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we did do some traveling to Argentina.
Yeah.
Well, no, we went to the Dominican Republic and Bogota, Colombia, and Puerto Rico. That's where I performed, in Puerto Rico. Yeah. And then I became pregnant with my second boy.
Which are now senior citizens.
Right. My oldest boy was a lawyer, and he's now retired.
I think one of your sons is my age,
Oh, that's right.
68.
Yes,
Yes.
he'll be 68 September 2nd. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, just great memories. I'm just so thankful you guys came on to talk about, your history with Las Vegas and that entertainment history that's so unique to Las Vegas and that we're so fortunate to have been a part of.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
yes.
for sure.
I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, yes.
And Las Vegas, no matter how much it changes, we're still here
Yes.
enjoying everything.
Right.
And it's
all
still a
the
great
music.
city.
Yes,
Yes.
It's still a
it
great
is.
city.
Oh, yes.
Oh, and we were all in Stephen Sondheim's Follies together.
Oh, yes.
That's
With
yes.
Tom
right.
Michelle and David that produced the show.
That's
Yes,
right. And then we
yes.
were also in the Philharmonic Christmas show
Yes.
That's right.
with the
Smith
conductor George Dowry.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And we're going to be in it again. He told me they're doing it again in December at Reynolds Hall.
That
the Smith
Oh,
Center.
wasn't that just
What
to be
an
able
honor.
to perform on?
What an
Yes.
on
honor.
the Smith Center
yes, it
stage.
I couldn't
was.
believe it.
Yeah.
that we
Yes.
were on that stage.
Yes, that was really
and we're
fun.
going to be there again.
Yeah, and I wish that they would, they could do the Follies once a year too, because
Yes.
that
They
was such a
should.
great show.
Oh,
Yes.
it was.
They should
Yeah.
do it.
Yes, that's a very good
Yes.
idea.
Yeah.
I hope somebody picks up on that idea.
That's right.
We have to call Tom. You've got to do it again.
Yes, yeah, call Tom Michelle. I mean, we had a 27-piece orchestra,
Yes.
and then at 45 casts of singers and dancers. It was so much fun.
Wasn't that
Oh,
wonderful?
yes.
That was so much fun to
Yes.
be on stage again.
Oh,
It
it was.
was.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're
Who
still
would have
here.
thought?
And we're still here. We're still here. We're still here, and it's those wonderful connections that we make through our dancing.
And yes, and look at how we've stayed together all these years.
Yes.
And you're really good, Cindy, about keeping us all together.
What better gift can you give a friend than another friend?
That's true. That's really
It
true.
is true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is there anything else that we wanted to talk about that I didn't bring
Well,
up?
there are
or
a
that
lot
we-
of things we can't talk about.
I know. I wanted to ask you questions about your stage door Johnnies, because you had the stage door Johnnies back in the day
Oh,
where
yeah.
we just had the elephant that would meet us, because we had our elephant. Remember, we'd come through the backstage door at the Lido, and the elephant would be getting rinsed off and getting ready to go on stage.
Was
So-
that Tanya?
I don't think it was Tanya, but I know Tanya.
Tanya
I
was
did
at the Dunes, and when I was doing Beverly Girls, I was also in rehearsals for Casino de Paris,
Okay.
and I had put my head down on a dressing table because I wasn't getting any sleep, and I feel something on the back of my neck. It was Tanya, the elephant.
Whoa.
Yes,
wow.
yes, she had gotten.
Did she come into your dressing room?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I was there alone, but what a sweet animal.
Oh. I think I saw Tanya perform up in Reno too. She was at the Nugget in Reno, but I can't remember the name of our elephant. But that elephant was in our African number at the Lido.
They're
Yeah.
very nourishing.
Yes.
They
Oh.
are. And loving.
They are.
Very loving.
Yeah, so that was my stage door Johnny experience where you guys had the stage door Johnnies.
Well, I had one who's very famous. I won't mention your name.
Thank you.
I had a tiger.
I'll wait till we're off air and then.
I know all the stories that you guys tell when we're off air. We need to
No,
share.
there was in the ice show, there was a magic act with animals, and there was this big, huge tiger who used to be outside the the stage door inside the hotel. I mean, but not in the backstage area.
Okay.
And in a great big cage. And when that was the way I got in. And I come along and I started talking to him, and it got to where he rolled over on his back, so I could scratch his tummy. He was so sweet.
Who was that?
The tiger.
We've got Cindy thinking of the stage door Johnny.
Oh, yes.
Not the tigers.
Well, I'll tell you one. He was
Yes.
very, very handsome. Steve Cochran.
Oh, uh-huh.
And he could ride horses, and he was a lifelong friend of mine.
Until I forget, what was Steve Cochran? He was a movie
actor.
or a movie actor.
Yes.
Oh, yes, very famous.
Oh,
What
yes.
was he in? What were some of the shows that he?
Well, everything.
Yeah.
What were the? Oh, he was in that one with James Cagney and what was the name of that? He played a bad guy. He played a bad guy
In a lot of pictures.
He played a
Yeah.
bad
Yeah, but you can look up on your phone.
I
when
will. I
Yeah.
will definitely look him up
Yes.
because
Very
you've talked about
handsome.
him before.
Yes.
Very
yes.
handsome. Yeah.
You've had a couple, and that's the only one that you're going to tell us about.
Right.
I
Can
had
you-
one when I was in Viva La Girls. He wrote me poetry, and he'd get it backstage somehow. And
Yeah.
the other girls, who mostly were single, thought, and there were 6 of us, and they thought, yeah, he also was young and very handsome. But I went out and met him one time and told him I was married and what have you. But he was very nice. Yeah.
So no more stories, Cindy.
Well, I have a lot of stories.
Tellable.
I don't think we have enough time to tell
Oh.
those
Well, we
stories.
can.
But let's see. I just know that working in Vegas then, it was wonderful. We had the
Yeah.
mob in
Yeah.
those days, and that's why we didn't have crime.
Yeah.
Oh, and I met Frank Sinatra in Tokyo, Japan.
Oh, you did?
And a few years later, Frank, what was his name at the Stardust? Frank
Rosenthal.
Rosenthal.
All together now.
Right,
Yeah.
right. He had a TV program, and Frank went on that program with me to help me raise money for a home for abused and battered children.
Oh, that's great.
He bought the first ticket. I have a photo of that.
Oh, that's
With
wonderful.
his holding
Yeah.
the ticket. But he was such a gentleman.
Rosenthal or
Frank
Frank
Sinatra.
Both
Sinatra.
of them. And Frank Sinatra was a real gentleman. He came through Japan with Jimmy Van Heusen,
okay.
whom I met in Hawaii about 5 years before. And Jimmy Van Heusen wrote a lot of songs for Sinatra.
And when I remember you talking about, there were a lot of celebrities in Hawaii when you were there,
Yes,
and you met a lot of people in Hawaii.
yes,
Yeah.
oh yes. Adam West. Before he was Batman, I knew him when he was Bill Anderson.
Wow.
And then he became Batman.
Who's Bill Anderson?
Adam West
Oh,
changed his
oh,
name.
yes.
Oh, I did.
He
I never
changed it.
saw it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Batman.
Uh,
He was the first Batman.
yeah, I knew that.
Yes.
But I didn't know about the other name.
He went to Hollywood, and I went to Japan. And
Okay.
then I met him here in Vegas.
Okay. Well, I mean, and you can tell us that you met Elvis in Hawaii, right?
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah.
met Elvis. He was 22 and I was 24, and he was a real gentleman. No drugs, no alcohol, just a very kind person
Mm.
and a gentleman.
Yeah. So
Yes.
so that was the the stage that you were performing on in the hotel, so that's where you met a lot of the people that were coming through that hotel in Hawaii.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's not where I met Elvis. But he had a concert there. He was only there a couple days.
Interesting. Yeah.
But
Do you think that was the only time you performed in Hawaii?
I think after that, I think he performed
Okay.
in Hawaii.
So that was probably one of his first times when he was that young.
Yes, but then I wasn't there
Yeah.
the next time. But they had a lot of celebrities, a lot of people come over there.
Well, Hawaii, I mean, the Hawaiian
Yeah.
Islands are still
Oh,
great
they're
today.
still
But
I have a Hawaiian family on Molokai,
nice.
and some live on the Big Island and some on Oahu.
Mhm.
But Danielle,
Yeah.
she's on
Yes.
Molokai.
She's beautiful.
Oh, her
Hawaiian
hair is
dancer.
down to her
Yes.
knees.
Oh.
I was with her. She's won champion hula, Tahitian, Maori,
She took after you
and Samoan.
Uh-huh.
with the Tahitian.
And she's,
yeah.
Right.
she's a champion. And I knew her mother when her mother was 10 years old.
Wow.
And she went to high school here. Danielle went to high school here and lived with
That's
me.
right.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and then she met this very handsome, half English. His mother came from England, and his father was half Chinese, half Hawaiian.
Hmm.
And in 12 years, they had 7 children.
Wow.
And they come up all the time to visit me.
Mhm.
Wow.
Usually they come every Christmas.
Yeah.
Right, and or this last Christmas, a couple came.
Oh, and tell us the story about Freddie Jr. and was it Cassius Clay? The
Oh,
yes.
yes.
He used the box.
Yes.
Yes, when we had the El Morocco, Cassius Clay stayed there while he was only 22 years old. And every day, Freddie, he was 2.5, he said, "I want to fight Cassius." And I would take him over there, and they would go in the lobby, and they would box. And one time, his sparring partner, Jimmy Ellis, wanted to take Freddie downtown, and I thought nobody else could drive him but me. But I looked at those two guys, and I thought, they're going to really be safe. So I let him go. He came back 2 hours later, skipping and jumping in the lobby, and he was so happy. And then one time, I thought, Freddie boxes with Cassius Clay. This is before he became Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
And I went out in the parking lot, and I videotaped it when he's boxing with Cassius. And now it's on PBS, on their documentary.
With Heather Caputo?
For Cassius.
Was it Heather Caputo that did that documentary? The one she did the Showgirl documentary as well?
No, it's strictly on Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's before he became Muhammad Ali.
Oh, how fun.
And, I agree with Cassius not going to Vietnam.
Oh.
Why should we send our boys to Vietnam to be killed and shot at?
Yeah,
And he protested, and that's why he became maligned because of that. But
Yes.
But he was right. But he was a wonderful young man. I
Oh,
told
yeah.
him, if my son becomes half the man you are, I will be very grateful. I told him that.
Yeah.
And he was 22.
Wow.
Yes. There's so many wonderful stories in
Yes.
Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas is a great town.
Yes.
Nothing like Vegas.
No.
And for you to have seen it grow the way, I mean,
Grow.
I got here in 79, but you got here in 50.
Well, I was performing here in 58 and 59 at the Thunderbird.
Yeah.
But I got here in 49
Oh, yeah.
when I
with
was
your
16,
family.
and Joni got here,
In 58.
living here and performing here before I did.
Yeah.
We've seen
Oh.
the changes,
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
but we're still here.
Well, thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for coming on to the Showgirl Connection.
Oh,
Thank you for
thank
having
you
us.
for having.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So let's do a toast to Showgirls.
Good idea.
Viva la Showgirl.
Viva la Showgirls.
Yes.
We'll see you on the next Showgirl Connection.